won't require you to involve your respondents because that's unnecessary. Can you see research proposal in your interface? Can you see that? These are the only parts that you will submit to me. Only the introduction and method, but I have included review of related literature and studies. If you're confused because other teachers do not require, the research mentors do not require their students anymore to submit review of related literature. This is only for purposive communication because review of related literature is already part of your introduction in a typical action research. But in purposive communication, there's a separate part or heading for the review of related literature and methodology. No, there will be no more results and discussion. But the parts of an action research, introduction, method, results, and discussion, there are other activities that you will submit or that you will turn in purposive communication. If you will work on an action, on the entire action research, you won't have time anymore on other requirements. In your introduction, the following parts are the following: background of the study, the main goal of the study, relevant findings, significance of the study, statement of the problem, and theoretical framework. If you got overwhelmed, kalma muna. Please calm down. Because you will not present the details of all the parts that you see on screen. Background of the study, only two sentences. The main goal of the study, one sentence. Relevant findings, 3 to 5 sentences. Significance of the study, 7 to 10 sentences. Statement of the problem, this contains only questions. For a theoretical framework, 7 to 10 sentences. But in detailed research paper, background of the study, 1 page. Main goal of the study, 5 sentences. Relevant, because you have to explain the relevant findings, at least 2 pages. Significance of the study, you identify the beneficiaries and the benefits that they could derive, 2 pages. Statement of the problem, the same, because this has questions, same set of questions. Theoretical framework, 2 pages. So very detailed. In an action research paper, only few sentences, you summarize the information. So if you see 6 parts for the introduction, that doesn't mean that you will write a lengthy action research. This is an action research. The simplified version of research or the concise version of a typical research. And the difference between a detailed research paper and an action research, in the detailed research paper, you discuss comprehensively all the topics. But here, only the highlights. So background of the study, only 2 to 3 sentences. Main goal, 1 sentence. Relevant findings, 2 to 3 sentences. Significance of the study, 7 to 10 sentences. Statement of the problem, you write your questions. Then theoretical framework, theories that you will use to support your study. How many sentences? O 7 to 10 sentences. Then in the second part, review of related literature and studies, you will create headings. You gather data related to your topic. You classify the data according to their proper headings. You classify the data according to their proper headings. You create themes. You thematically present the information and synthesize the information. What do you write in the synthesis of your study? The summary of all the topics that you have discussed and the significance of including those pieces of information. You discuss the significance of including the pieces of information in your study. I will remind you, this was already stated earlier, but for the benefit of those who have just arrived, in other action researches, we don't have review of related literature and studies. There's no separate section for the review of related literature and studies because this was already included in the introduction. In this class, I would like you to create another section for this. Next, I'll show you more samples next time. Methodology. There are four parts: research design, instrument, sampling design, and data analysis. In your research design, the method that you will use in investigating your topic. Your instrument is your survey questionnaire. Sampling design, the method that you use in choosing your respondents. Is it random or purposive? Data analysis, how you are going to investigate the topic. If you chose qualitative research design, some of you are familiar with this. If you choose qualitative design for your research, you will create themes. The data will be analyzed thematically. You create themes. If it is quantitative, you use statistical treatment. Those are just the parts. I would still teach you how to write those parts, but let's do things one at a time. You reserve your questions about this next time because I will prioritize the discussion of preliminary concepts about action research. As the name suggests, you address pressing issues. Problems need immediate action. Most of the researches today require solution to the problem. We solve problems, we address issues that affect the students, okay, the consumers. Please consider these things in the formulation of your topic. It will be in group. We'll determine the members of the group later. So that is an action research. Output-oriented, outcome-based. You present your recommendation. You also create a program that will address the issue. An action research is a process that improves things. This is the expectation. We want to improve things, places, events, and practice. What are the things that need to be improved in our academic institution? Instructional materials. You think we need to improve our facilities? Should we improve our facilities? Is there a need for that? What do you think? Oliver, you think? But they say that we already have world-class facilities. Wow. World-class na raw ang facilities natin eh. Okay, instructional materials. Okay, supplies. Well, you receive your supplies. How about gadgets? Have you received gadgets from the city government of Makati? Okay, not yet. Yun. So what should we, how about your school supplies? School supplies. PE uniform, shoes, bags, are those available? Okay, those are the things that need to be improved and they can also be considered in the formulation of topic for your research paper because resources have an impact on the journey of the students. Places, okay, the facilities, events, programs that are prepared for the students. Oliver, I think, is one of the officers in the organization. Are you one of the officers? Okay, Oliver. Okay. What are the programs that will contribute to the holistic development of the students? We can also ask, yes, Oliver. Okay. And I think after holding the event, you plan to have your evaluation. When you're going to, okay, you will have your evaluation to determine the effectiveness of the program. Otherwise, it will be a waste of our resources. You have received your receipts, di ba? You have paid your token fee. You have paid for PIA fee, Parents Instructors Association, PIA fee. Do you still have that? Or you have been I think you have your PIA fee, 50 pesos. The students pay 50 pesos for Parents and Instructors Association for the programs. The fees are meant to fund the programs proposed by the students. But uh, the fund will never be enough. They will attend budget hearing. They ask a lot of questions. We also fish an amount from our pockets because what we receive from them is not enough since we cannot justify everything. Okay, so events. During the evaluation, we can determine the effectiveness of the events, which you can also use in your uh, action research. How about practice policies implemented if you want, if you would like to investigate the implementation of the school policies, you can do that. How about the strategies utilized by teachers and the learning strategies used by the students to acquire more knowledge and take active participation in the activities? As revealed, when we work on an action research, we solve a problem. We need transformation in education. We cannot transform our educational system unless we engage ourselves in an action research. It's a collaborative effort. What if only one person presented the results? It's not a group activity. In this class, you will work with different members. So that justifies the collaborative feature of an action research. But what if you have work on the research paper alone? Would it still be considered a collaborative effort? Yes or no? Yes, because you have your target respondents. You can be part of your research, but you need to ask other respondents to decrease the level of subjectivity. If you are the researcher and you are the only respondent, the results are not reliable. Involve other respondents. That makes action research collaborative. I did that when I investigated or assessed the business English program of another university. We don't have that at UMAC. So I investigated the program in the other university. I was also a respondent, but there were other respondents. So it's collaborative because you need the participation of your target respondents. Doing research on or about people. What is our goal here? Improve the quality of our lives, solve our problems. A student in the other class questioned me, Ma'am, in your last question you wrote there, how can Kai improve the academic performance of the students? But in the title, you don't have the academic performance. It doesn't have to be there because it's understood that we are strengthening computer assisted instruction because we want to help the students improve their performance. I think the student would just like to ask or request for the inclusion of performance in the title, but it's not necessary. Next, it's cyclical. There are steps. You identify the problem. You gather data, analyze and interpret the results. You express recommendations. You communicate the results. If the results are not favorable, what are you going to do? You start all over again. It's just the same process. You cannot use other strategies. Other steps cannot be undertaken. If the results are not favorable, you can modify or identify another problem. The same thing, same actions have to be undertaken or have to be performed. You analyze and gather data, analyze and interpret the data, and then uh, after analyzing the data, you express or you suggest solution to the problem. Then you inform the authorities about the results. It's linear, so it's both. Action research is cyclical and linear. It is linear because you cannot skip any of the process. To my surprise, a group of students didn't present to me their problems. They didn't show me their questions. I did not validate their questionnaire. I didn't see the analysis and interpretation of data. They don't have, okay, there was never a time that they have asked for my advice about the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations, but they were able to submit the entire research paper. To verify the information, I asked the students questions related to the research. Most of them could only answer basic questions, but they failed to answer all the questions in the research, all the questions related to their investigation because they skipped the process. What did they do? They asked somebody, they did not investigate anymore. They just asked somebody to do their research. No, it's linear. How can we solve the problem if you ask another person to prepare a research paper for you? You cannot escape research. We are now creating a culture of research, or we are now creating a culture of research or a research climate in all organizations, across all organizations. It's linear because it involves the processes that I have just mentioned. What are those? Identify the problem, collect or gather information, interpret and analyze the data, express recommendations, and communicate the results to the proper authorities. It's conclusive because I assume that the data or the results are not products of your own imagination. You have not invented or you have just guessed your analysis and interpretation. The management has to take this seriously because this is the product of your investigation. When we do our research, when we present action research, we explore, we discover, and we seek. We find ways to solve issues that affect all of us. Finally, this is a way to improve instructional practice. We want transformation in the field of education, then we have to conduct our research. Here are perspectives in about action research. It is a self-reflective inquiry, it's pragmatic, reflective, and collaborative problem solving. It is undertaken by the participants in the study. As I shared, I was part of my investigation. I assessed the business English program together with the other teachers. Because I encountered a problem, I would like to know if there are things in the business English program that have to be addressed. That makes it a self-reflective inquiry. It is pragmatic because it must be experienced. You cannot tell the members of your group, I'm going to shoulder all the snack expenses. It's all right if you are not going to contribute. You also do that if you know that you don't have time to work with your classmates, you will bribe your group mates and tell them that you will provide pancit canton, yung you will provide snacks for them. Okay, but you have to experience it. That is an action. It involves your participation in action research. You are involved in the investigation. It is reflective in one of the research presentations that I have witnessed. A researcher was presenting the unfavorable results. The management was informed that the senior high school program was not effective. The panelists told the researcher, you'd better take your seat and stop showing us the data because it's not reliable. No. If you are part of the management and this is the result, anyway, you have a way of finding out. You can ask the students if you have doubt. You can ask the students and gather information from them. If these are the comments of the students, you are a part of the management. You use the results as basis for decision making. You reflect on the results. Be objective. This action research has been conducted to help the institution and not to put the institution in a difficult situation. Collaborative problem solving. This is conducted by one or more individuals or groups. I have explained that an individual action research is still a collaborative work because this engage the responses or this involve the responses of the target respondents. If you work on an action research, you increase the rate of your employability. If you know a lot of things and you were asked questions during the job interview, you can give comprehensive information. But not only for professional development, let us include enhanced personal awareness. So for professional development, personal and professional development. For professional development, if you are knowledgeable, you have many opportunities. Aside from being considered in the company, you have chances outside. Education change. We cannot change the system unless we conducted research. Next, enhance personal awareness. You get to know yourself well. Improve practice. We want change. But we'd better be careful when we speak of change. Somebody has already promised change is coming. I'm not alluding to anyone. I just remembered. Okay, what happened? I'm not going to answer the question. If you are, if you expect that I would answer the question, no, I'm not going to do that because this is not, I will not use my platform to promote any political agenda. Okay, new learning. Facebook is a product of research, not necessarily an action research, but this is the output presented by Mark and the members of his group. The purpose is to establish connection among people in the university. And now everybody uses Facebook. Can we survive without Facebook? I don't know. I cannot answer the question. Other social networking sites have been born. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Telegram. Kasi Telegram na alam ko noon, the Telegram that I know, the Telegram that was sent to us after 3 days. You would like, there is an urgent message that you have to receive. Okay, or is there an urgent message that you have to send? You need to send a telegram, but that will reach the person, the intended recipient, after 3 days. And now, if you have a message, you use your group chat. We have our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You could also identify other networking sites. The messages can be sent instantly for instant communication. Things have changed already. Action research comes in various forms. We conduct research to identify the problem, to diagnose the situation. This perfectly describes what happened during the early forms of assessment, because assessment is also an action performed in research. In 1922, Philippine Normal University was established in 1901. In 1922, a group of American educators came to the Philippines to know the condition the educational of the education in the country, to know the condition of education in the country, because the first teachers homicides. Now, they found out that it's effective, so they have strengthened the language curriculum. That is an example of a diagnostic research. There is a problem, there is a condition, you describe it, you identify the issues, and you propose solutions to the problem. It's participatory. You cannot present a reliable research if you did not involve yourself in the study. It's empirical. It must be experienced. It's experimental because you try to discover other things about the field. That is our purpose. If you conduct research, you can use strategies and even equipment that will improve the quality of your lives or that can transform your condition. I have here the other research models because your next assignment, you will illustrate and describe the research models. But what you will submit on Saturday, the research topics, and describe each research topic in 2 to 3 statements. What I am showing you right now are 10 research models. You will illustrate and describe the research models next week. Next week pa naman because you already have an assignment on Saturday. You talk with the members of your group. I have mentioned the steps, but I'll provide a detailed explanation before I assign members to each group. Identify a problem area. What are your experiences during online learning? Please identify problems that are researchable and that are within your area of specialization or within your field of interest. You are CBFS students, ano? Okay, business, your, you can recommend topics related to business, entrepreneurship, uh, interpersonal skills. You can never thrive in the business organization if your interpersonal skills are poor. And then, okay, field of interest, learning strategies, study habits, teaching, okay, teaching strategies, instructional materials that your teachers prepare for you, activities that are designed for your section, and then virtual learning, Korea addiction to Korean telenovelas. Those are, di ba, those are topics that are, how about politics? Perception of the students. Well, politics for an action research, what can we do is this a problem that should be addressed by the students? We'll see. Next, after that, if you have already identified the problem areas that you would like to investigate, but I suggest you base or you consider your situations as students when you present action researches so you can get more information about your journey in the academic institution. Then after which, you collect and organize data. RRL, ha? Yung review of related literature and studies. Literature, information from, can you still remember that? Literature, information from books, magazines, articles. How about studies, theses, dissertations, investigations, case studies, consult, primary, secondary, and electronic sources of information. You can, sorry, you can ask people to share information about your topic. You also distribute your questionnaires. You obtain data from your respondents. Aside from synthesizing information from the sources that I have mentioned, you gather results or you gather data from your target respondents. But that part will be skipped in action research in purposive communication. Next, analyze and interpret the data. Your analysis and interpretation must be coupled with RRL. Do not just analyze and interpret the data. What made you think that the Filipinos are indolent? Filipinos are complacent. If you would like to study the behavior of the Filipinos or the behavior of the students in online learning, what made you think that the Filipino learners are indolent or complacent? Do you have your justification? Where can you get your justification? You use the information in your RRL. Use the information in your review of related literature and studies in analyzing and interpreting the data. Next, you suggest solution to the problem. It was termed action research because your action is expected in after conducting an investigation. And then, you communicate the results to the people concerned. Communicate the results to people concerned. Questions about the preliminary information about research. I just prioritize this. This is not the next topic. The next topic still about messages and the communication, but you need time to look for information related to your topic. Do you have questions about this before I ask? Yes, Jeremy?
Ma'am, sorry po. Am I loud and clear, ma'am?
Yes. You are, Jeremy, you are audible. You are not edible. Na, I just saw that on FB. Sir, you're not edible. Yung, I saw that on Facebook eh. You have not seen that yet. Edible daw si Sir. Okay. How does it taste kaya? I'm not interested. Sorry, I'm not interested sabi ko ha. Okay. Huwag kayong judgmental dyan. Okay, sige.
Ma'am,
Jeremy, what's your question?
hindi na, sorry. Not regarding the parts of the action research po, about earlier about the deadline, if tama po ba pagkakarinig ko, we will pass our action research before the midterms? Tama po ba, ma'am?
No, no.
Ah,
2 weeks before the final examination. Two
before
weeks
the
before
finals
the,
exam pa po?
yes. Yes. 2 weeks before the final examination. But I would like you to have more time to work on your research because when I assign tasks, I make sure that my goals are realistic and attainable. If I am going to discuss this during the final term, let's say 1 month before the final exam, then after 2 weeks, you will submit your research paper. Ano kaya yun, di ba? You cannot do that. Then every week, kasi there are also other activities eh. Yung I will give assignments on research, then there are also other activities that you have to accomplish. you cannot comply with the other requirements if you will not be given enough time to work on your research paper. Submission of your action research 2 weeks before the final examination. We have just started early ha para you have more time because our schedule next week the presentation of your topics, then the following weeks you start writing the different parts of your research paper, then the final paper will be written. uh, there are a lot of things that you have to learn about writing a research paper. So we have started early because we'll still discuss other topics in purposive communication. Okay? Okay na tayo? Now, if you don't have questions, eto na. For members, your assignment, have you seen it already? You will propose. Ay, sorry. Bakit sa inyo to? Have you seen enhancing face-to-face? Diba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no, no. Uh, I uploaded the wrong file. Please ignore that. Enhancing face-to-face environment. This is for my, ignore that. I'm surprised. I was surprised when I saw enhancing a face-to-face learning environment because this is only for my field study students. Kaya pala my students told me, Ma'am, we cannot see the file because it was not uploaded. Please ignore that. Focus only on action research and research proposal. So your task next week, ignore Module 7. Present 10 action research topics and describe each topic in 2 to 3 sentences. Okay? Present 10 action research topics and describe each topic in 2 to 3 sentences. Let's check the names first. Okay, Princess, inform me if you cannot see your name. Princess Erica, Christopher, Claire Dane, Christelle, Eliza, Keith, Nelisa, Bianca, Cindy, Jeremy, John Michael, Mark Shane, Kayla, Patricia, Maristel, Oliver, wala na? Okay, Myra, Mark Chase, raffle kayo dyan, and Rina. Michael, who? These are just the names that appeared in the TBL Hub. Let me check. John Michael, you're sure? Here, Cindy, for your peace of mind. John Michael is here.
Ma'am?
Jeremy, so Cristel Buena Obra.
Yes, ma'am.
Cristel.
Na-change na po yung CMOT niya po, ma'am, kaso hindi pa raw po na-update ng IT
Oh,
yung TBL niya po.
all right. Who
Thank you po,
else?
ma'am. Ayun lang po, ma'am. Ayun lang po. Thank you po.
Cindy. Okay ka na, Cindy? John Michael is already here.
Wala
Okay na
na
si
yun, ma'am.
Cindy.
Hindi ko ma-gets.
Ano si Cindy? Concern na concern eh. Okay. So, 4 members for each group. Group 1. Viernes. Michael, are you sure? O Cindy, what are we going to do? Michael is no longer part of the class daw. I don't know.
Alam, ma'am, sad.
Are we going to delete Michael from the list?
Sige, ma'am. Kasi ma'am, nag-out na siya sa mga GC.
Okay.
Nag-leave
Give me
pala.
one test. Why did he leave? Did he drop? Okay. So, what's the decision? Retain in the meantime? Or, hindi, gano'n na lang. We'll remove him. John Michael Manilo. Okay, Viernes, Bantugan, Ruiz, and Vargas. Group 2. Gadiao, Presas, Katabay, and Valdez. Okay. Group 3. There are only three groups eh. Hernandez, Acosta, Santos, and Huen. Next. Ito na siguro. Okay. Group 4. De La Cruz, Bondo, Rio Veros, Magsumbol, and Ramos. Group 4 has 5 members. Group 1, Viernes, Bantugan, Ruiz, and Vargas. Group 2, Gadiao, Presas, Katabay, and Valdez. Group 3, Hernandez, Acosta, Santos, and Huen. Group 4, De La Cruz, Bondoc, Rioveros, Magsambol, and Ramos. You have questions about the groupings? No questions? You know, you don't have a choice. Thank God, ano lang, kasi your other classmates have left already, but the class survived. Your class was not dissolved. Galing ah. Anyway, yung, your, let's pray that your classmates would reach out to you and inform you if they have plans of dropping the course. Anyway, please be mindful of your assignment and the deadline. Then on Tuesday next week, I'll inform you of the topics of your tentative or no your the topic that I have chosen. I'll inform you of my preferred topic for your action research. That will be on Tuesday. If you do, yes, Jeremy.
Ma'am, sorry for interrupting. Clarify ko lang po, yung task number 4 is yung 10 action research topic. By group po yan, ma'am, di ba?
By group.
Okay, thank you po ma'am, thank you po.
By group. Please ignore Module 7. Hindi sa inyo yan. Sa isang class ko yan. Kaya pala hinahanap nila. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I have to dismiss you now so we can prepare for our activity tomorrow because I am an officer, one of the officers of the Faculty Federation. I am begging your indulgence to this. Thank you so much. I might see some of you tomorrow at the university because we were informed that the officers of the different student organizations will be arriving. Pero before I dismiss the class, I would like to ask Oliver. Oliver, I have not gone to school yet. They're talking about the sculpture. Do you have any idea about this? Is it our version of the oblation bato? You have seen it? Ah, oo. Oo nga, oo. Mm. Pero Jeremy would like to participate in the event eh. Will he be allowed or kasi we were informed that only the officers of the organization or you can also mm, bring or invite. You cannot. Okay. Okay. So, you cannot also give us an assurance. Siguro, siguro. Yung we can get updates from Jeremy because we only prepare activities for teachers eh. But I don't know the plans of the student organizations. Kung they will also show it sa inyong mga pages ba? Are you going to have the live streaming of the unveiling? Yes. COVID is still in place. We have to observe the protocols. We have to observe the protocols, but all the academic and administrative employees are required to attend tomorrow. Galing ano? Observe uh, protocols, health protocols, but all academic and administrative employees are required to attend tomorrow. Anyway, thank you so much. See you again next week. Don't forget your assignment. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you po ma'am, thank you
Thank you
po.
po.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.